Have you ever seen an album become so much more than music that 1 year later, people across the world are still celebrating it like it changed their lives? Not just streaming songs, not just posting edits, but organizing donations, feeding children, filling entire cities with giant advertisements, flooding social media with emotional memories. Because that's exactly what is happening right now with JIN's Echo. And honestly, the deeper you look into this story, the more unbelievable it becomes. 1 year ago, when JIN released Echo, fans already knew the album was special. There was something deeply comforting about it, something warm, personal, healing. But I don't think anyone fully realized that an entire year later, people from completely different countries, cultures, and languages would still be united by the emotions that album gave them. And that's the thing about JIN. He doesn't just sing songs people listen to, he creates moments people carry with them. Moments that stay during lonely nights. Moments that comfort people during difficult days. Moments that make fans feel understood, even when they've never met him. And now, on the first anniversary of Echo, fans around the world decided they wanted to give some of that comfort back. But what happened next became far bigger than anyone expected. In the Philippines, one of JIN's fan donation groups called Eat JIN Team organized a deeply emotional charity event. Instead of focusing only on online celebrations, they decided to honor JIN through kindness. The same kindness they feel his music has always given them. So they prepared food packages for 50 children connected to the Cavite Cancer Warrior Kids organization. Just pause for a second and think about that. A music album inspired people thousands of miles away to help children battling unimaginable hardships. That's not ordinary fandom anymore. That's influence turning into compassion. And what makes this even more emotional is the message the fans shared afterward. They said they wanted to continue celebrating JIN and his music through ongoing activities that support local communities. They specifically talked about honoring his artistry and his positive influence. Positive influence. Those two words perfectly describe why JIN's relationship with fans feels different from so many celebrities today. Because fans constantly talk about how his presence makes them feel safe, comforted, calm, encouraged. And somehow, Echo captured all of those emotions in one era. But while the Philippines was turning JIN's anniversary into an act of charity, something equally incredible was happening on the other side of the world. In Mexico, fans from the JIN Space fanbase launched a huge digital advertisement project in Mexico City. And imagine this for a moment. Thousands of people walking through one of the busiest cities in the world, cars moving through crowded streets, bright lights everywhere. And suddenly giant digital banners appear celebrating JIN and Echo. Not because a company paid for it, not because of a marketing campaign, but because fans themselves wanted the entire city to feel the warmth that album gave them. And honestly, that is powerful. The Mexican fans explained that Echo brought comfort, warmth, happiness, and healing to so many people that they wanted to express their gratitude publicly. They wanted more people to discover JIN, more people to hear his music, more people to experience the same emotions they experienced. And you can really feel the sincerity behind that. This wasn't just promotion, it was appreciation, real appreciation. Because for so many fans, JIN became more than an idol during the Echo era. He became someone who helped them emotionally survive difficult moments. And if you followed BTS for years, you know this has always been one of their greatest strengths. Their music doesn't just entertain people, it reaches people. That emotional connection is exactly why the Echo anniversary exploded online almost immediately. As soon as the anniversary arrived, social media became completely flooded with emotional posts, favorite lyrics, video edits, memories from release day, and messages thanking JIN for the comfort his music gave them. The hashtag Echo by JIN Anniversary began trending worldwide on X, formerly Twitter, as fans from different countries celebrated together in real time. And honestly, some of the messages were heartbreaking. Fans talked about listening to Echo during moments of anxiety, during heartbreak, during exhaustion, during nights when they felt completely alone. And somehow, one album became part of their healing process. That's why this anniversary feels so emotional, because fans aren't celebrating numbers alone, they're celebrating memories. But then something happened that made the entire situation even more legendary. Fans participated in the Echo anniversary voting event on the idol platform Choedol, and Jin absolutely dominated. He ranked #1 in the individual category with over 10 million votes. 10 million. Do you understand how massive that is? That level of dedication doesn't happen because fans casually like an artist. It happens because they feel deeply connected to him. And while Jin's solo anniversary was taking over social media globally, BTS as a whole delivered another reminder of their unmatched power. The May 2026 Singer Brand Reputation Rankings were officially released. And once again, BTS stood at #1, above every artist, above every group, again. The Korea Brand Reputation Institute analyzed more than 95 million pieces of singer-related big data, studying consumer participation, media presence, communication, and community impact. And despite the music industry constantly changing, BTS still came out on top with a massive brand reputation index of over 7.1 million. That's not normal longevity. That's history. Because think about how difficult it is to stay relevant in modern entertainment. New groups debut every month. Trends change every week. Attention spans disappear in seconds. Yet BTS continues dominating year after year because their relationship with fans was never built only on trends. It was built on emotion. And honestly, the report itself hinted at that. Analysts specifically pointed to BTS maintaining strong connections with ARMY worldwide through their global activities and presence. That connection is everything. Because numbers alone cannot explain why fans in different countries are feeding children in Jin's honor. Numbers alone cannot explain why giant advertisements appear in Mexico City for a 1-year anniversary. Numbers alone cannot explain 10 million votes. Emotion explains it. Connection explains it. And maybe that's why BTS continues to feel untouchable even after all these years. Because people don't simply admire them, people genuinely care about them. That's rare. Especially in an industry where so many artists disappear once trends move on. But BTS, and especially Jin during the Echo era, created something deeper. A sense of comfort, a sense of home, a feeling that fans were understood. And honestly, that kind of emotional impact can outlive charts, awards, and trends. What makes this story even more beautiful is that Jin himself has always seemed genuinely humble about the love he receives. That's part of why fans feel protective of him. They see someone who constantly gives warmth to others without demanding attention for himself. And in return, fans across the world want to protect that warmth. That's why every Echo anniversary project felt personal. It didn't feel corporate. It didn't feel forced. It felt sincere. Fans celebrating someone who helped them through life. And maybe that's the real reason this story feels so emotional. Because at its core, this isn't really about an anniversary. It's about millions of people proving that music can still connect human beings in a genuine way. One artist in Korea releases an album, and somehow children in the Philippines receive food. Giant screens light up in Mexico City, millions of fans unite online, and the biggest group in the world continues dominating global reputation rankings. That's not just popularity anymore, that's legacy. And the scariest part? It honestly feels like BTS and Jin are nowhere near finished yet. So now I really want to ask you, when you think about Jin's Echo era, what emotion comes to your mind first? Comfort? Healing? Strength? Hope? And do you think any artist today has a connection with fans as deep as BTS does with ARMY? Tell me everything in the comments below. And if this story moved you even a little bit, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because the next chapter of BTS history might already be happening right now.